So we're seeing some massive developments within this particular crypto cycle. A lot of different players coming out and using the Michael Saylor playbook, which could bring trillions into the crypto markets. I'm going to show you the latest, which just came out as of yesterday. We're also going to have a look at the NVIDIA earnings, which is going to be coming out later. We're going to assess what the NVIDIA chart looks like and if this is going to be good for the AI sector. And we'll have a look at a bunch of the altcoins as well in today's show, and then discuss Bitcoin on the low time frame, specifically the 1 hourly, as it's about to break out of an ascending triangle. So smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Let's get straight into the show content. You're witnessing a little bit of a pullback, and this is probably due to the fears yesterday where Russia was supposedly going to release nuclear weapons and start to bomb the world, essentially. But anytime that you hear these types of things, you can consider this valuable when it comes to a bull run, because the more fear that remains in the market, the higher the opportunity is for prices to continue to grind up. It's the periods where there's no more fear left in the market and everybody is sure that price is going to go up higher. That's where you need to start to become very, very careful within the market. So if you were somebody that was going short on the market off of that news yesterday, you probably got absolutely rinsed. It's never really a good idea as soon as you hear these news events to try and liquidate positions. 99.99% of the time, prices will quickly bounce from those levels. And I think that's part of the reason why you're seeing a little bit of a red market today. As the market digests that's unlikely to happen and the probabilities are very small, you should start to see prices move up very, very quickly. But that's not the main news, right? One of the main things that came out yesterday was Michael Saylor sharing his presentation of his typical borrow and buy Bitcoin strategy to the board of directors of Microsoft, right? So some huge moves over there. This could be big for the space if they do start to allocate, and we're seeing this really gain a lot of attention. And then you also have, of course, Matthew, who is from VanEck, head of digital asset research at VanEck, coming out literally saying for immediate release, right? This is big news. For immediate release, VanEck endorses the strategic Bitcoin reserve. No need for sources. We're just going to tell you ourselves. That's exactly what they are doing. They're endorsing that. And I think you're going to see a lot more players come into the game when you have these big names providing the credibility that Bitcoin should have had many years ago. But they're only starting to realize this now. So most of the sideline players who did probably hear about Bitcoin all the way back in 2017 and again in 2021 and faded it, now they kind of have the vote of confidence from these big players, and they'll probably start to position into the markets, likely to bring trillions, right? And then we also have Senator Loomis, who came out with, of course, the strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. These things tend to get pushed through very, very, very quickly. So we'll keep an eye on this. This is now the fourth most viewed bill in the country. And they say, let's pump it to number one. I have no doubt that this will probably move up the ranks to being the number one most viewed bill and likely to get passed through, right? And that's going to bring huge money into the market because you have a lot of eyeballs, a lot of powerful people watching this. Of course, BlackRock, one of the most powerful businesses or institutions in the entire world. Arguably, they control the majority of the world's wealth as it is. And we know that they're Bitcoiners, right? They're busy up buying up hordes of Bitcoin right now. And you have the other public companies with Bitcoin holdings, and this list is just going to get bigger and bigger, right? So Bitcoin companies, right, with the miners, you have the technology companies which are putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, healthcare, finance, various different crypto sectors. Although they work in other forms of crypto, they're also putting Bitcoin specifically on their balance sheet, right? So big players entering the game, huge money, huge inflows. You have Chris from Rumble coming out saying, should we add Bitcoin to the balance sheet? That is, of course, the CEO of Rumble, YouTube's competitor. And you have underneath there Michael Saylor commenting, would be happy to discuss why and how to do this with you. And Chris DMing you now. So the trend is in motion, right? These are essentially the makings of a cycle top. We're not there yet. I just want to be clear. Go watch yesterday's show. We spoke about how much higher things could potentially go. But at the end of the day, this is a strong indication of what may come next. It's a strong indication of what could bring that FOMO, right? A lot of people are going to be talking about this. There is some big opportunity here for the crypto space at the moment. And then we know Peter Schiff, who's anti-crypto, anti-Bitcoin, and a renowned gold 𝗕𝗢𝗦𝗧𝗕𝗓𝗓 says the higher the price of MicroStrategy stock goes, the more shares Michael Saylor can sell. The more shares he can sell, the more Bitcoin he can buy. And the more Bitcoin he buys, the higher the Bitcoin price rises. When the price of Bitcoin goes up, the share price of MicroStrategy goes up more. When does it end? I mean, it becomes the perpetual bid, right? The perpetual bid essentially may be about to take place. So, of course, when does it end? Eventually, it probably will blow up in some form or way. But understand, Michael Saylor is playing not even a multi-decade game, but probably a multi-century game where he's really thinking far, far, far into the future, and he's trying to raise massive amounts of money, and his loans are only needing to be paid back, you know, very, very far in advance, which means he's not really going to be subject to the normal ebbs and flows of the crypto market the way that a leverage trader would, right? A lot of people talk about, oh, when is Saylor going to get liquidated on his leverage position? It is a form of leverage, but the loan repayments are very, 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 very far out, right? So there's many ways that he can raise money. He's not going to be shaken out even by a 50, 60% sell-off on Bitcoin. He'll just raise more money and do it again. And the interesting thing is now you have all of these companies which are going to be running the exact same playbook, doing the exact same thing. So this could actually create a perpetual bid for Bitcoin. We'll continue to monitor the charts each and every single day as things go up. Also, beyond that, you also have Lutnick now about to get picked as the Secretary of Commerce. So here from Horsey says crypto payments and use are about to get major approval. The space is going so much higher. Who is this? Who is this guy? Well, ultimately, Howard Lutnick is Tether's Wall Street banker, right? He's somebody that's in favor of Tether, somebody that's in favor of Bitcoin as well, and he's considered a crypto pro candidate. So all these stars are aligning. Things are looking really, really good. We'll look at Bitcoin price in a moment, and consequently, you can just see, you know, ETF net inflows massive, massive, massive. Now, this has typically been a counter indicator. When you get the extremes, you can expect a pause in the market or sometimes even a major, major pullback. So if we do have a look at this chart over here, when you do get those big spikes, you tend to put in a local high, and then you can expect a pause or pullback. We're going to speak about that as well in today's show, because there is some key things that we need to be looking at. So yeah, let's continue on over here. Monthly chart for Bitcoin still looks very, very strong. I wouldn't be surprised still to see this month, which has 10 days, 17 hours left to go, pushing all the way up into that $102,000 region. Whether it closes there is a whole nother story. You should expect that naturally that 100K level is going to be a major psychological zone, at which point there will be some profit taking. So even if this candle expands beyond that 1.618 fib extension at $102,000, don't necessarily expect that you're going to get closes over there. Naturally, there's going to be some profit taking coming into that zone, right? Bitcoin dominance, since of course Bitcoin is really in the limelight right now amongst these major players, as I've just showcased to you, is pushing up higher and higher and higher, right? So Bitcoin dominance still powerful. You don't want to fade a strong trend. This is why I've said simply just wait for the confirmation. The only altcoin exposures you should be looking to get is into altcoins that are strong against Bitcoin. Those of that have completely outperformed Bitcoin. Some that can come to mind just very quickly: Solana, Mantra, PopCat, some of the meme coins that we've had a look at. These have been outperformers against the BTC chart, which is why we've got exposure to them. But your true rotation from Bitcoin, your Bitcoin holdings into the altcoin sector, should you be somebody that wants to play that game to get more bang for your buck and rotate out, that should only occur when you have the actual confirmed top on the Bitcoin dominance, which you don't have, right? Very, very close at the apex of that rising wedge, which is a bearish chart pattern. But at the end of the day, trend is the most important thing to look at, and the trend remains very, very strong on the weekly time frame towards the upside. We are, of course, at major resistance, which is why we expect any point from now we should get a major pullback. So if we look at the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap over here, which really suggests what the altcoins are doing, you can see it is finding a little bit of resistance coming in over here, all the way at the top side of the range high. If you do get a little bit of a pullback, look for the reaccumulation between 665 billion. Between that 665 and 850 billion is your reaccumulation zone. And then if you can break and hold above this, that's where you'll lead into the breakout, which we've already seen so many of the other coins do, right? So I'm not necessarily betting on any pullback beyond, down to that 660 level. I think it's very unlikely. I think the most likely scenario right here is going to be that you're just going to have continued chop within the zone, right? You're going to get chop like this in this zone over here, and that reaccumulation over there should lead to the breakout, which should send the altcoins running. So we're going to have a look at some of the altcoins in today's show, because I am currently long on a couple of positions. I'll share those with you. And a lot of it's got to do with, of course, the NVIDIA earnings, which is coming out later today, right? So scheduled for today. We'll keep an eye out on this. The thing with NVIDIA that's made it tricky is that the analysts keep expecting better and better returns, right? So usually you predict or you expect a certain return, and every time NVIDIA comes out, it beats that expectation. It ends up being better than the expectation. And then the next earnings, they expect, well, this one should be even better. So they keep projecting further and further ahead. And if it doesn't come out better than expected, usually you can expect NVIDIA to pull back. But the charts is one of our ultimate guides to what may potentially happen next. And one of the things that I'm looking at is simply just NVIDIA on the weekly time frame. Nice and easy, just like that. You have very, very key support over here. If this were any other charts, I would say this is a breakout zone. This is a long opportunity, and this is where you expect that NVIDIA should continue to expand towards the upside. So I would say that probably based on this chart over here, the earnings should come out better than expected, and we should have business as usual, continuation of the trend. As you can see, this is what this chart looks like. Absolutely beautiful. Straight up, right? High highs, high lows, consolidates, flips this level into support. So it's your SR flip, previous resistance. We came down, formed a high low, broke up, came back, held that as support. And if NVIDIA goes, that creates a couple of trade opportunities within the AI sector, which is why we preemptively went long on this way back in anticipation of this event. This was already a long time ago. You can look over here. Here was the trade setup that we put. So what date was that exactly that I put this? This was, I can't even see. Wait, let's just quickly double check over here. That was, again, let's try that again. The 9th of November. 9th of November, we had Render, which is one of the AI picks. I dropped a whole bunch of them just underneath this chart in the Whale Room Discord. $5.18 in anticipation that it is going to break this downsloping trend line, which we've now seen because Render's trading up around that $8 mark. So you can see, of course, I am long on this position over here, currently up 174% on that trade. So it is looking really, really good. Up $7,500. We have a bunch of other trades underneath that as well. This is, of course, on Bybit, right? So I dropped all of the trades in there. Any of you that do want to catch up with the portfolio and all the various different trades, everything has been listed over there in the Whale Room Discord. I will remind you of that, right? So keep an eye out on that. Now, stock markets as well, have they shaken the news of the nuclear warfare, the scare that came out yesterday? Well, it looks like they're completely unaffected, for the most part on a high time frame. When in doubt, zoom out. Weekly time frame looks strong. High highs, high lows. I've outlined the major key levels. I'm not going to give you the levels because I know you'll never remember, but let's just talk percentages. 3.79% down, and you're going to hit major key support on the S&P 500 futures. If you look at the NASDAQ, this is a little bit more volatile, which means this can drop anywhere between about 8 and 10% down. And it's also going to hit a super, super key level over there. And then if you look, of course, at the Dow Jones, this one can also come down in the region of 7%, and you'll still be at major support where I would expect a bounce out of that zone. If we look at the Coinbase chart, which is right next to my head over here, we have the big cup and handle formation. We starting the breakout. We've been long on this trade literally ever since the lows over here. I think we got long between about like 38 and then again at about $47. And I've been guiding everybody along this as price has been playing out. And we spoke about the breakout of this. Firstly, you have your first measured move, which is the top of the yellow line, taking Coinbase up to $355. That's based on the rectangle. And then you have your proper measured move, which is probably longer or medium term play, where you can expect that this should still go up about another 71% from here. The good news about that is this should be an indication of how altcoins will do in the coming weeks and months. It's very unlikely that you're going to see Coinbase stock rally up 71% with altcoins nuking, right? Unlikely. We looked at the total 3 chart. I showed you how it's consolidating at that key level. As long as it holds up around that region, we should see a greater breakout and new money flowing into the crypto sector, right? So, and that's not to mention all the money that's potentially coming into Bitcoin. What you could see is this massive rotation, right? As Bitcoin dominance starts to top over here, and all the institutions and TradFi people maybe start to target Bitcoin because this is the first time in history that we've ever completely front run Wall Street, right? Wall Street and institutions. We've been in Bitcoin for many, many, many years. So maybe what we'll do is we'll choose something else. We'll move into something else. Bitcoin dominance will drop. That money can flow out, and the institutions can move all their money into Bitcoin, keeping Bitcoin price relatively stable while Bitcoin dominance drops and altcoins rally. Maybe that's how things are going to play out. So we're keeping a close eye out on things, and we'll continue to monitor this each and every single day, right? Another thing that we need to pay attention to, I'm looking on the daily time frame over here at the DXY, which is clearly coming into a major range high resistance. On the daily time frame, ever since over a year ago, we keep rejecting from this key level over here, and you can see we're doing the same thing right now. Now, this has been a very, very strong impulsive move towards the upside over here for the DXY chart. It's not to say that you cannot have a bull run when the DXY is rallying, right? Typically, these are inversely correlated, meaning when the DXY goes up, crypto and risk on assets struggle. When the DXY comes down, crypto and risk on assets tend to pump, right? So it favors our case better if we do see the DXY come down, but it's not a death sentence. If the DXY continues to rally and Bitcoin continues to rally as well, we have seen this occur before. It happened back in the 2017 cycle, as well as I believe in the 2014 cycle. It is possible, but we'll keep an eye on this because breakdown over here will just make things easier for crypto. And this is still possibly a major distribution which is taking place. So I'll update you when it's more relevant. Right now, just put it on your watch list. Keep the DXY on the lookout over here for rejection from this 106.68 level, right? If you look at Bitcoin, MACD on the weekly is also still trending towards the upside. And you can see each of the other previous times we did get these big moves, right? When you got the MACD crosses over here, this did lead to pretty substantial moves. This is for this particular cycle. Ever since the lows, the recent cross over here has taken Bitcoin from $67,000 up to the current price, which is in that $90,000 region. So all in all, that's looking really good. There's still enough momentum over here to bring continuation of this move, right? You can see also all the moving averages, the 3, the 9, and the 30, bullish posturing. Everything looks good for continuation. We're breaking out of a long-term range. That suggests don't fade it, right? But there are some key factors that we need to consider, which is like the TD sequential 9 top in play. I'm going to show you that in a moment, so stay tuned until the end. Just having a look at some of the top altcoins, at least within our portfolio, we have the Renko chart, which keeps things very, very simple. When it's red, you're out. When it's green, you're in. It's a strong trending move. And we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Casper, Brett, Mog, Popcat, and Sui. Everything is trend continuation, which means don't get shaken out, right? If you got in the positions originally when we dropped them over here in Whale Room, you should be A-okay. Continue to hold that. Now, this is the update over here, which we outlined also in Whale Room a couple of weeks ago, which was the TD sequential 9 top with the CME futures gap, which is coming below. We spoke about this as one of the worst case scenarios that you may pull back down into that low region. I said I think it's unlikely, but instead you're probably going to see a bit of a consolidation or a pause within the market, right? So let's just quickly grab that chart. Here it is. Here's the chart. This is what we're looking at over here. I still tend to think that price is going to continue to break out just by the nature of what you're looking at over here. Remember, when you see these TD sequential 9 tops, which came over here, this suggests 9 consecutive candles in a row. It's very rare that you'll just see price blast beyond that point without first putting in either a downward correction, at which point you would target the CME gap, or a sideways correction, at which point you range, creating your next bull flag. Now, we spoke about the likelihood of the ranging market being the more likely scenario like this, and that's exactly what's happened, right? So the way that I'm viewing price action right now is you're probably going to get one more push towards the upside. I'm going to show you why on the hourly time frame that's probably going to happen. But I do again want to warn you that following this next move, I think that because we're on the weekly 9 count over here for the TD sequential. This is Tom DeMark. He was a really famous trader, I think back in the 90s, who coined this system where you're looking at the magic number of 9 within charts and how but around that 9th candle, you tend to get exhaustion. Now, to be clear over here, exhaustion doesn't mean that you have to nuke down. Exhaustion simply means a short-term correction, specifically between 1 and 4 candles, right? So on a weekly time frame, what's interesting about this is if you look at the return on investment for Bitcoin, specifically in the month of November, we know that it tends to do on average, I think it's something like 43%. Currently, we've done somewhere around 35%, or not corrections, 35% profits, right? 35% gains. And then in December, we tend to see small pullbacks or neutral gains within the market, right? So flat market, which lines up more or less with this, right? So your expectation should be following the next breakout, which I'm about to show you on the hourly time frame, why I think that's going to happen very, very soon, or needs to happen today if it is going to happen at all. Following that, I think that you're going to see either a sideways consolidation for a couple of weeks, possibly for the rest of December, 4 weeks into 4 weeks, so it will be the whole of December, or you're going to see a little bit more of a pullback where you come down to test some of those low levels and you put in your next high low, right? Because if you look at the price chart right now, especially on the daily time frame, this is ultimately what it looks like, right? You've just had periods of higher lows and then higher highs, right? So you have your high lows, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now it just keeps going higher high, higher high, higher high. We're missing the higher low, which means at some point you need to put in that correction to create that higher low, at which point the late retail that get in late, which is probably going to be only after this next pump, which I think can take you into the 100K region, that's where they're going to get shaken out of their position. So why do I say that? Why do I say that I think that you'll get that one more pump? Well, also dropped in the whale room yesterday and updated as well this morning. We were looking at the ascending triangle on the low time frame chart, which looks like this. And price is currently attempting to break that right now as we live on the show. It's breaking above Monday's high, which we did yesterday, but then you immediately faded back down. So this is essentially what we're looking for, right? We're looking for price to gain acceptance above Monday's high, which means hold above $92,610. If you can gain acceptance, what is gaining acceptance? You may ask. What I know there's new people here, so what am I talking about, right? Gaining acceptance looks something like this, right? Price held the yellow line over here and failed to hold below, right? It came back down, immediately reclaimed, comes back down, holds it, comes back down here, holds it, right? That is called gaining acceptance. So you're looking for price to gain acceptance, which it attempted once, failed, came back down, attempted again. Hopefully in the next couple of hours, we see something like this, right? Price holding above that $92,000 level, that's gaining acceptance, and then you look for rapid expansion. Now, because it's an ascending triangle, we have a measured move that we can work out based on the bottom of the triangle all the way to the top over here, which is the breakout level, and you can say this becomes your measured move, right? Ultimately, your expectation then is that price could move exactly to that $100,000 mark, right? So into the 100K region, it depends how much momentum is behind it. I guess it's going to be affected by NVIDIA coming out later today, which a lot of the stock market is looking to, because we know the weighting of NVIDIA in the total S&P 500 is huge, right? So if NVIDIA does bad, the stock market comes down, and ultimately this is what we're watching. We're keeping an eye out on this, but I do believe following this next move is probably where you need to be a little bit more cautious, right? So if you do see this move later on today, don't start FOMOing into positions. Your positions would need to be set right now. This is more going to be one of the first times within this cycle that I would say it becomes a profit-taking zone, right? Now, what happens if that doesn't happen? Because this is what trading is. It's an either this or that scenario. If any of you have ever played around on Excel, you know you can program Excel with certain formulas. You can say, you know, if this happens, if X happens, do Y, right? This is essentially how trading works. So you have a plan of action. If acceptance is gained above here and you start closing multiple candles above this key level, which is exactly where price is now, you go long for the top side of the trading range or the target, right, at $100,000. If price cannot gain acceptance over here, you treat this as a deviation, and you can expect that price is going to come back down to Monday low, meaning you might break this upsloping trend line, which is where a lot of liquidity will reside underneath in the form of stop losses. And if you break that trend line, remember it's an if this, then that scenario. So if you hold above here, you're long. If you can't keep holding above that level, then you need to look down to the bottom of the trading range, which means that price probably comes down to that $85,000 level. So this is your low time frame analysis, right? Low time frame analysis looks exactly like this. It's pretty crystal clear. I'm literally going to go one step further because I know there's a lot of new people over here, and I'm actually going to label the levels for you. If that doesn't deserve a like, I don't know what does, right? 85K, right? That is your range low. 89K, that is your mid-range. And then we have 92K. This is your range high. Here's your if this, then that scenario. If you can start to see multiple 4-hour candles closing above 92,630, you should be expecting prices going to rapidly appreciate to the $100,000 mark, giving you a price appreciation or percentage appreciation on Bitcoin of around that 8.42%. That means that certain trades that we're in, like render, are going to absolutely pump, right? Those things should do very, very well in that type of environment. So, and then the alternative is if you, let's just quickly turn all of this magnet stuff off. There we go. The alternative is if you can't hold that, you could theoretically, if you're a scalp trader, take a short trade over here when you lose this level once again, when you break back below 92,630, and you can trade it down to the mid-range, take a little bit of profit expecting a bounce over there. So typically it would play out something like this. If I use my drawing tool, you would then expect something like this, right? Starts to break down, it's going to head for that line. First bounce probably bounces in the mid-level of this level, which is going to be in the region of 91,100. And then you probably lose that level and you come down to 85,000, at which point I think you'll find major support at 85K, right? That's a key level where you want to see things hold. Now, why do I say all of this? Well, you can see that if you look under the hood of the market and you focus on the cumulative volume delta for these spot traders, this shows you, are people buying Bitcoin as an underlying asset without using leverage, or are they selling it? Okay. And then you can look at this one over here, which is the futures traders. Are they long or are they short? And then you can look at the open interest and see what that looks like. What this information tells us over here is that the general range that we've been caught within between that key $85,000 level and this level over here has, for the most part, been controlled by spot, right? Spot sold off a little bit over here, and now they're starting to reaccumulate from this $89,000 level because price is not breaking down, and they're starting to buy price back up. But the divergence that's taking place over here is within the leverage traders represented by this white line, which you can see these have been net sellers. They're trying to short the market. They've been building up stop losses above over here, which means if they change their tune and they flip long over here with spot traders going long, you see the breakout on the hourly time frame, right? That's what you expect. Then you see the breakout, the ascending triangle, which the chart tells us everything, right? All these extra little fancy things are just confirmation biases to help us to understand what's coming next. The chart ultimately will tell you everything, which is reaccumulation in the form of higher lows, right? Reaccumulation in the form of higher lows, you create the equal highs because traders are covering their bases and flipping short over there just in case they're wrong, right? I wouldn't even be surprised if some of these traders who are short here don't actually mind getting stopped out and leading into the breakout trade. So a little bit of a more in-depth analysis for you guys today. We have a lot more to get through, so don't go anywhere. Smash the like button. If you do want to trade that breakout, by the way, and especially if you're somebody that's new, there's an absolutely phenomenal opportunity over here on Blofin because there's no KYC, right? So you don't have to provide all your birth certificates of your children, every country that you've ever traveled to, with supporting bank accounts and water and lights utility bills to prove that it is you. Non-KYC means that you can just put in your email address and ultimately you can go onto this exchange and start trading, right? So if you do join onto this exchange and you do want to take that Bitcoin long trade over there pending this breakout, well, there is a competition that's running as well where you can win $1 million, a $1 million prize pool. This is one of my favorite exchanges to trade on. Blofin, of course, they got the fins and all, similar to Whale School, Whale Room. I love it. Amazing, amazing platform. A lot of trading pairs. There's a link in the description below. If you do decide to sign up and you use that link below, not only will you get a sign-up bonus for joining, but also you can enter into the Banter Bags giveaway, as well as the Win a Bitcoin competition, right? So remember, it's all listed below over here. If you guess the price of what one Bitcoin will be by the 1st of January, and you guess the closest guess, you'll get one full Bitcoin, right? You finally become a whole coiner if you're not already a whole coiner. So that's that over there. Let's continue. Let's move on over here. What we're witnessing as well is a reset in the funding rate heat map, right? what was getting very heated very, very quickly, you can see now over the course of yesterday and today is starting to flush back to green, right? This essentially, this color coding shows us the extremity of how leveraged people are within the market. So when we see it looking like that, very, very, very leveraged within the market. When we see it green like this, it signifies a little bit of a reset. So if I go on the weekly over here, again, you can see this was yesterday and today, right? Today starting to flush back to the green side. They're closing their positions right before what could be the start of the breakout, right? So everything is looking good over there. We're all fine. We're still waiting for the breakdown of the USDT dominance. We'll check on this chart every day because this is vitally important at this particular level. Right now, it still looks like it's more likely to distribute than reaccumulate and pump. If this pumps, bad for crypto. If this dumps, very good for crypto. We should see a new flow of money coming into the crypto sector, right? So there it is. There's Bitcoin. Daily time frame, we still have support from the moving averages, the 9 and the 18. We have a continued grind over here, and we're still waiting for one more push up. I've shown you why on the hourly. All right, we're getting an absolute annihilation over here on the ETH BTC chart. If you were to treat this as any other chart, and this were to be a 5-minute chart, for example, just pretend this is a 5-minute chart. This is going to be a very, very key level, right? So we're super close to the end of this pain, I think, for the ETH BTC chart, and you should see a big reaction out of here. I just wanted to draw this to outline the percentage of how much more damage this could take, anywhere between 6% and 20%. So if you believe that ETH BTC is going to trade higher than anywhere within these levels, let's put our little eyes over there. If you believe it's going to trade anywhere higher than this level over here, then, you can start to position into altcoins, expecting that in the coming weeks and months, your altcoins are going to be worth a whole lot more. We'll have a look at a bunch of the altcoins as well. We have Solana over here. Let's quickly have a look at how Solana is doing. So, possible high low that's going to form over here, and then looking for expansion. You've officially filled the fair value gap, right? So a lot of the inefficiency candles, when you see an inefficiency candle is known as an abnormally large candle, and that could be to the up or the downside. And when you see these abnormally large candles, you know that price is oftentimes going to revert back towards the middle of that candle. More specifically, coined as what is known as a fair value gap, right? A fair value gap is this. There it is. That's your fair value gap. Theoretically, you have filled that fair value gap on Solana. And if Bitcoin breaks out from here, you would expect trend continuation, right? So a lot of the coins are going to look like that. Solana does have a measured move as well, based on the current breakout levels. This could take it as high as $400, right? So big move, still looking for price appreciation across the board for the majority of these coins, right? If you want to learn more about these things, by the way, for anyone that's new over here and you haven't yet done Whale School, go through to the link in the description below. Here it is, Whale School. Click on that. It will take you to this page. Sign up while you still can, guys. Time is going to be running. 14 days left to go. I'm actually doing this cohort's final workshop, and then you'll be joining into the next one, which is going to be the last cohort of the year. That's cohort number 10. I'm not sure if we're going to continue with Whale School for free anymore from next year. So we have to reconvene as a team. Please sign up. Use the links in the description below if you want to get in. That's the place to be, right? Cool. Let's go through the list. What else do you guys want me to have a look at? Drop your chart requests and I will check them out, right? Drop your chart requests and I'll have a look over here. Okay, what else? I'm checking. Let's see. Let me scroll through the list. We got Sui. What else? We got Doge. Okay, let's go through some of them, the top ones over here that you mentioned. So first and foremost, Sui. How's Sui doing? Very, very, very strong, right? Sui is still strong, consolidating over here, following a big move. That means as long as it can keep consolidating and moving sideways, the longer that it does that, the higher the probability is of continuation. I still think, just like Bitcoin, there's at least one more big push up over here before any sort of a correction. That's going to take you to $4.36. That's your 3.618 fib extension, right? Let's look at how's Injective doing, because we haven't checked Injective for quite some time. Okay, it still also has the fair value gap at the bottom of the range there. Probably not going to hit because it's already reclaiming mid-range. We are long on Injective already, by the way, guys. We got long on this ages ago, back in September. If this does continue to hold mid-range, next target is $30. Break and hold above $30, and you're playing out the falling wedge. That's target 1, and then target 2 is going to be all the way up towards that $50 region. So still big moves over there. Let's look at NEAR, since it's one of the AI plays coming into the NVIDIA earnings. So you are flipping a key level. We highlighted this. Let's just quickly change that onto a solid line to make it a bit more clear. So key level over here, we want to see this hold as support. Flipping this into support, this is that 560 to 590 region. Hold that as support, and that should catapult price higher. And your next level is going to be 837. So for NEAR, that would take NEAR up another 48%. We already long on NEAR, both on leverage and on spot, right? Okay, 𝗬𝗓𝗡. We must have a look at 𝗬𝗓𝗡. 𝗬𝗓𝗡 has failed to perform within this cycle. Let's see if there's anything brewing over there. So looking at 𝗬𝗓𝗡, still also it's broken the downsloping trend line over here. It's reclaimed the range levels. I do think it will get moving. I do believe this will be a higher low. Let's just clean that up. I do believe this will be a higher low that you're going to see now. I'm going to zoom in. So let's go on the 12-hour time frame. And let's zoom in over here. So I do believe 𝗬𝗓𝗡 should get moving at some point. We were looking for the bump and run scenario, break the downsloping trend line or break out of the falling wedge, whichever way you want to view it. But ultimate low coming into the pivot level. You can see major pivot level over there. Price bounces, breaks that level, bump, and takes a bit of time and then run. Low, higher low on a macro basis. That's what we're looking at. So 𝗬𝗓𝗡, I'm also currently long both on spot and leverage. You can get in pretty much at a similar price to what I did, right? So if you do decide that you want to enter into that, the levels have been dropped in well room. That's the trade that I took coming into key support over here. I see that as significant, expecting a reaction out of there. And now we want to see this move with the rest of the market. Okay, what else? What else? Let's see. Let's go to, I see somebody requested 𝗕𝗢. Let's go and have a look at 𝗕𝗢. 𝗕𝗢 USDT. I know some of the memes are taking a little bit of a beating today, but understand anytime the market goes risk off, memes get annihilated. As soon as the market goes risk on, they pump, right? It's the opportunity for you to take a levered bet or leveraged bet without actually touching perpetuals or leverage, which means you can get liquidated, right? It's an easy way to sit in a spot position that trades like you're on high leverage without any risk of liquidation. So 𝗕𝗢 over here, pulling back obviously a little bit. Let's just quickly put in a trend line over here. So some key levels. I'll look at another key level in just a moment, just any other price history. Okay, that's it. So still very, very strong. Let's grab this. Okay, very, very, very significant levels. Put on the 50%. All right. So 2 levels that I'm interested in. You can see how that lines up really nicely. This is really going to be the key spot. I'll put in a price label for you. So this is going to be the key spot. Between there and just above with the previous top that we put in ends in 1678, right? That's where you want to see support found. So if you do pull back a little bit more, expect a little bit of reaccumulation to occur within that zone, right? And then you're looking for that to be a major high low and then continuation from that point. All right, I see Jasmine is also putting in a little bit of a move. We currently long on this. Similar to 𝗬𝗓𝗡, this one will take a bit of time. Only recently entered into this trade, but looking at also a low and then a higher low to form within this region. And then we're looking for the markup. So that is Jasmine over there for you. Okay, Myro. Yeah, we can go to Myro. How's Myro looking? Myro also looking decent. Similar, right? Jasmine, 𝗬𝗓𝗡, they all look very, very similar. Bump and run scenario, breaks the downsloping trend line. You have your low, you have your high low, and this one is gearing up to mark up towards the upside, right? Of course, Bitcoin dependent. If Bitcoin breaks out, that's where you expect these things are going to run. All right. Best case scenario, by the way, would be Bitcoin breaks out, goes to 100K, consolidates sideways in that 100K region for weeks to months, and Bitcoin dominance starts to break down, USDT dominance breaks down, and altcoins rally. That's like the dream scenario, right? Okay, let's have a look at Rune as well. We haven't seen that one for a while. Let's see, Rune. How's Rune doing? Okay, still chopping about. Very hard to comment on this chart. It's kind of a sloppy chart. Your clear levels that need to be reclaimed is going to be this 730. If you got into this trade way earlier when we did, then I guess just continue to hold. There's no point doing anything else. But if you're looking to get long on this now, I wouldn't. I'd rather just wait for a cleaner chart and a proper breakout. Of course, it may be a little bit low liquidity over here, so not much movement. Okay. Let's see what else. Theta. Somebody wants Theta. Let's have a look at Theta. I haven't checked that chart for a while. Okay, Theta USDT. All right. Theta. Okay. Also, a little bit of a reaccumulation pattern, broke out above those highs. That's the key level. It's also kind of an illiquid chart, but any of the pullbacks that come into, I'm going to give you the zones over here. Any of the pullbacks that come into this 150-ish region is probably where you want to see price hold, and then you want to have a markup. Hard stop loss would be on a long would be below $1.26, right? So if you want Theta to run, that's ultimately what you're looking for. You can see the significance of this level, right? So previous resistance over here. Now you want to flip that into support and then have continuation. All right. Okay, let's look at MOG. How's MOG doing? MOG USDT. Let's see. MOG USDT. All right. Okay, still doing okay. Slowly doing its thing, slowly grinding onwards and upwards. Really not much to comment over here. All we can do is adjust the fib level now. Your 0.382, which is known as your shallow fib or your bull fib, where in bull markets, trending markets, price tends to find support. That's coming in the last couple of digits is going to be 2117. Okay, I know there's a request for Chainlink. We can have a look at that. Chainlink definitely underperforming within this cycle. Levels to look at. Let's see. Okay. It's a sloppy, choppy chart, to be honest with you. There's not much momentum over here. I really recommend that you try and side with coins that have huge momentum. But, if you want to look on the daily time frame, your major support, of course, let's clean this up, coming in at the bottom of this range over here. So major support coming in around that $9. I just think there's better charts out there. This is your big SR flip region. I don't think that this is just going to mark up from this point because there's also a lack of liquidity, but it's played out the Wyckoff accumulation and distribution schematic a few times, right? So you had the distribution, you had reaccumulation. We actually went long right over here, all the way at the bottom at $5. We're looking at the power of 3, which is the long-term accumulation, manipulation below the range, comes back into the range, and then expansion, right? And then you led into distribution all the way back down. So as per that Wyckoff schematic, you'd be looking at some form of reaccumulation within this region, and then maybe later in the bull run, you get that markup. There's other things that are definitely trending a lot better than what Chainlink is, right? Okay, cool. What else, guys? Phantom. Yeah, let's have a look at Phantom. Let's see Phantom. How is this one doing? Okay, Phantom, there it is. All right, so Phantom key levels over here. You do have your upsloping trend line. You do have your gap, which has already been, or your fair value gap, which has already been filled over there. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. Look, extremities, you always want to take your trades as close to the extremities as possible. It means I would have to wait for something like this. This is if you don't already have exposure. If you're already long, I think it's fine. It's kind of in the middle of no man's land right now. But if you want to enter into a new trade, that's going to be the level to do it, around that 58 cents region. And then your targets are going to be to the mid-range, which is going to be TP1 at 88 cents. And then after that, you can target TP2, which is going to be the range high at $1.23. So that would be the trade. Enter here, stops below there, target 1, so T1 over here, and then T2 over here, right, at the top side of the trading range. Okay, so that is for, of course, Phantom. All right, what else, fam? Let's go. Drop them in the comments over there. Also, guys, while you are still putting in the comments, I do want to remind you, please go through to, there's a link in the description below that will take you to a new YouTube channel. If you click on that, it's called Crypto Live. It will take you to this page. Yes, I asked if 5,000 of you would do me the favor of subscribing, because this is where I'm going to be streaming quite a lot from now on, at least half the time, then please can another 5,000 of you go and subscribe. We have 8,930 subscribers. Do us a massive favor. This is where I will be streaming from next week, right? From next week, Monday, I'm going to be on this channel. If you want to watch the show, you need to click on that link, go and subscribe, turn the bell notification on, so you will be notified. Let's just put on, there we go, like that, turn the bell notification on, and then you'll be notified when I do go live over there. All right, Aptos, Bonk, yes, let's have a look. Let's check Bonk as well, because I know Bonk got some major listings as well recently. So let's have a look at Bonk. How is Bonk doing? Okay, up 7%. Really, really good. This is one of our top meme coin picks. We were accumulating all the way at the bottom of the range over here, and this one's essentially moving into price discovery, right? So very, very bullish. You can't really gain an entry on this one right now. It's pumping. If you're in, hold on. If not, you're going to have to wait. Let's go to Brett. Brett's also looking like it's putting in a bit of a reaccumulation over here, which is nice to see. Break and hold above this top part of the range. That's going to be, if it can reclaim and hold above 18 cents, that's going to probably occur if Bitcoin does break out from here. Then I'm expecting Brett to quickly trade up to 28 cents, right, which is going to be all the way at the top over there. So all in all, looking good. Let's just clean this chart up over here for you guys. So all in all, Brett is looking really good. Another request was Aptos, right? Let's go to Aptos. Aptos, where are you? Let's just click on this here. Aptos USDT. Here it is. There we go. All right. Okay, flipping this level into support. That's what you call gaining acceptance on a daily time frame, right? So far, this is gaining acceptance. You could probably have a stop loss that would run below here. I'm going to put it in. So stop loss, I'd probably go conservative stop loss would be there at about 924. If Aptos can continue to hold this, you can pretty much trade Aptos all the way back to the highs. So it would end up looking something like this, right? Range lows. And then we have the mid range, which is where price is currently. And then you can trade that all the way up to the range highs. So Aptos, that would be a 57% move on a spot trade. Looking at it as a ratio, the closer you can get down towards that level, the less risk. So essentially looking at something like that, right? 3.44 to 1 risk to reward ratio. That's a pretty solid trade. Watch for acceptance to hold over here. And then as Bitcoin breaks out, maybe you get a little bit of a markup over there on Aptos. If you do want to ask more questions around chart requests, guys, remember in the Whale Room lives, we are doing that there. You can see our traders in Whale Room, the private Discord, are absolutely annihilating at massive gains, 800%. Look at this crazy 1,140%. Huge profits over there from the traders. They're absolutely crushing it, and we're obviously killing it on the memes as well. There's a link below for Black Friday. Sign up while you still can, right? At the end of this, it will never be cheaper ever again. Once Black Friday is over, it's ultimately back to normal pricing, and it will probably actually rise as the bull market breaks out as well, because we price things in Bitcoin, right? Okay, let's go. Akash. Let's look at Akash. We do have to look at some of the AI sector as well, just before we close off over here. So let's look at Akash. There's Akash. All right. Also, not a clean chart, kind of in the middle of no man's land, to be honest with you. But if I have to just throw in one level over here as a key level, it's going to be this, right? This is going to be the significant SR flip. There you go. That's going to be your most significant zone over here. Prior resistance, resistance again turns into order block, sends price up, bounces off that level, deviates, flips it, rejection, and now you're looking to flip that level into support. So your key zone over here is going to be $3.34. That's what I'd be looking at for Akash. Let's check EOS. Okay, EOS, very, very strong banger trade that we took over there. We're up 120%, and I think this one's just getting started. So you should see much further upside over there on EOS. Okay, render, look at the render chart. I gave another entry, even though we've been entered into this since $5. We looked at the sweep of the equal lows over here, deviation, we got our entry over there. But in terms of this trade over here, how high could this go? Well, easily I could see render for the first pause zone is going to be around this $10.75. And then after that, I think price discovery, it should break out. Okay, what other AI ones do we have to look at over here? Let's see. Okay, how's 𝗬 doing? Okay, 𝗬 also coming into a key level. There's a free trade for you guys. Look, you need to observe on the low time frames what price action is doing, but assume that if Bitcoin does bounce, I'll kind of be monitoring this on a low time frame like the hourly. Let's just have a look at this. So, looking at something like this, just kind of observe, right? Observe price. You don't need to just ape into the position. Observe price on the low time frame. Maybe you start to see this, comes back down, something like this. Break of structure, creating a higher high, breaking the downsloping trend line. So break of structure, higher low, back into support. You buy that next high low. That's it. That's where you enter into the trade. You buy the next high low, which would therefore be somewhere here, right? But you're waiting for that confirmation, right? You're getting a low, another lower low, higher high. You buy the higher low. That's it. That's the way that I would look at this trade over here. So if you do want to learn more, again, guys, jump into Whale Room. The traders are absolutely phenomenal over there. That's it from me, folks. I'll catch you all on the next one. Also, make sure you jump into the $1 million competition. I know our traders are crushing it over there on Blowfin. I will see you in the competition. It's running for another month. Catch the rest of you on the next one. Have a great day and cheers for now, fam.